welcome back to another episode of Sip and Review. My name is Chantel, and today I will be doing the final part 2, The Haunting of Bly Manor. Today I will do episodes 7, 8, and 9. Before we get started, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like by giving this video a thumbs up, and share, comment down below, and let's get started. So on episode 7, now Giselle and Peter's ghost is still roaming around Bly Manor. They both like to play games, and they haunt the kids in their dreams. So we know that Danny can see ghosts too. So as she was able to see the ghost Rebecca sitting on Flora's bed, the school teacher was lowered into the attic where she was hit in the head with a wooden object. So this is where the plan was for Peter and Giselle, the other ghosts, to do harm to the school teacher. So I will get more into what was their main purpose. So now this game that they play when the ghosts, they come back, they call it dream hopping, where it's like you're dreaming but it's with ghosts. So who's the fountain boss? Who's the fountain boss and who's Quint? So Peter showed Rebecca she didn't believe that he was dead and that he never left the house. So in Rebecca's mind, she's thinking that Peter was still alive, so he had to prove to her that he was dead, because you remember, as you recall, the ghost dragged him for stealing, and when she dragged him out and took him to the pond with her, which is where she takes all of her victims. So she killed him, but his spirit, however, as they call it, dream hopping, was still in the manor. So now he didn't he was dead, and Rebecca just could not believe him. She thought he was joking. So because of Rebecca's stubbornness, she's too blind to see that he's really dead. So she's quite upset with the fact that he stole from them and that he made her look like an accomplice, and that he didn't come back for her. But Peter, he tried to let her know that I tried to come back for you, but I couldn't because I'm dead. So now you know Peter's really obsessed with Rebecca. He really loves her. So, and he told her, you know, that I would never leave you. So remember, let me get back to it. So if you guys remember, when the ghost dragged him by the neck into the bedroom, so from that moment on, he was dead, and also said that he was watching as the ghost dragged him down the stairs. Now, Rebecca asked Peter if they could still go to America. Now, him as a ghost and her. So Rebecca, he cannot leave Bly Manor. So at this point, she had no idea that no one can leave Bly Manor. So Rebecca had to see if what Peter was saying was correct. So she tried running out of the gate herself to see if she could actually leave Bly Manor, but she was thrown right back on the property. Okay, so it was like as if there's an invisible type of wall or something around the whole premises where no one can leave. Once you're there, you're stuck there for life in debt. Okay, so Rebecca had to invite Peter in so that they could become one. So she invited his spirit into her body. So now Rebecca feeling sad that, her love is dead and she can't be with him. So Rebecca wanted to be with him, so she decided to drown herself in the lake. She decided to kill herself. So she saw Peter's dead body at the bottom of the lake. So now Peter is selling the kids a pipe dream. He's trying to get them to allow him and Rebecca to possess their bodies. Just like he convinced Rebecca to kill herself to be with him, he thinks that he's got an escape plan for him and Becca. Shaking my head. So they both want to possess the kid's body. Now he wants to kill the teacher and get rid of Hannah because he never liked her anyway. Now Peter, who has now possessed Hannah's body, is taking her for a stroll in the forest to throw her ass back into the wishing well. Now, he wants her to see that she's really dead at the bottom of the well, because Hannah does not believe that she's dead. She don't even remember how she died. So let's move on to episode 8. Rebecca released herself from Flora's body. She instructed the teacher to take Flora far away from Bly Manor. But no one can ever leave Bly Manor, okay? So they went back to the 16th century. This is where they get in depth with the story and tell you exactly how everything happened and why Bly Manor is haunted, okay? So the same ghost, which is Viola, that's the one who dragged Peter to his death and grabbed the teacher by her throat and dragged her too as well to the lake, because this is where she stores all of her victims, okay? So Viola is the ghost that roams the hallways at night. Now if you notice that the feet tracking that's all throughout the manor late night, this happens every night around the same time. It is Viola roaming the hallway. Now Viola had a baby girl named Isabel. Now Viola got ill. She was coughing up blood, and she has a blood cancer, is what they called it in that day. So she killed her sister by suffocating her to take away from her suffering. So this is what Viola's sister did. She was tired of seeing her sister suffer, so she killed her. So her sister, they show the scene where her sister Viola, who is the ghost, she's married to Arthur, okay? Now Arthur, guys, he came to the manor. He's a very wealthy guy. He came to the manor, and at first he had his eyes set on her sister, but once he saw Viola, he had his eyes set on Viola, so he wound up marrying her. So the sister, she was still very salty about that, even though she pretended like she didn't care, like it didn't bother her at all, but she was still salty, feeling some type of way that he chose her sister and not her, which is also the reason why I believe that she had no problem with suffocating her sister, as she said she's trying to take her away from her suffering. Now, with that being said, she wound up marrying her sister's husband, Arthur, once her sister was dead, after she killed her. Now, the sister that killed her name is Perdita. Now, if you notice, you see Viola's name in the chapel on the written on the ground in the concrete. That is the ghost that is haunting Bly Manor. So now Perdita wanted to sell her sister silk, jewels, and linen. Now Viola's dying wish was to leave that for her daughter, and she left it hidden in the chest, okay? So she didn't want no one else to have possession of that, her valuables, with her daughter, because it's very expensive silk, okay? In her jewels, in her linen. So she stole the keys to the chest. Once open, She was admiring silk dresses. Now her sister Viola the ghost grabbed her sister by the neck and she choked her out, which served her no good as right, because first of all, you killed your sister and married her husband. Now let's go on to episode 9. We move on to episode 9. Now 5 years had gone by and Danny and Jamie are still living their best life together as the shop owners of the flower shop. Now you know, what happened was Danny, in order to save the kids, Danny sold her soul to Viola in order to keep the kids alive. She sacrificed herself basically. So after a certain time, whenever Viola was ready to come collect, Danny was said to go into the lake where the rest of the people or the rest of her victims are, and her spirit will live on Bly Manor for eternity. Okay, so after that, the spell was lifted and everyone was able to leave Bly Manor. And also the housekeeper, she came to terms and realized that she was actually dead as well. She was led to the well, and that's where she saw her body laying at the bottom of the well. Now, you know, guys, she kept on seeing this crack in the wall, but that crack in the wall that she kept seeing was the crack that was inside of the well where her body was found at. Okay, someone pushed her into the well, okay, where she died there. So like I said, your spirit, when you die, it does not leave Bly Manor. You think you're alive, but you're not. So that's where she was found, at the bottom of the well. And this is where, what's wrong with my phone? But this is where everyone was able to escape. The gardener was able to escape, as well as the kids. They were all able to escape. Miles was able to escape with his sister. And speaking of Miles, now he's the one that actually pushed the housekeeper, not Miles, the housekeeper was pushed down the well, okay, where she died. Now Rebecca, you know, Rebecca and Peter is already dead, so they won't be leaving Bly Manor, nor will the housekeeper be leaving Bly Manor. So who was able to leave was the chef, the kids, Danny, and the gardener, which is Jamie, her lover. Now, as I was saying, 5 years had gone by, and Danny and Jamie are still living their best life together as a shop owner of a flower shop. So that's what they did, because you know, Danny is Jamie's fiance now. So the two girls, they both ran the flower shop. Okay, so now Viola is haunting Danny. When Danny looks in the mirror now, she sees the disfigured face of Viola, whom she made a deal with at Bly Manor in order to free everyone and lift the curse. Now it's time for Danny to honor that deal that she made with Viola, which signifies the reason why now, after 5 years, she's constantly seeing Viola, because it is time for her to honor the agreement that was made. Now, Danny asked Jamie to marry her, although in the 80s there was no such thing as same-sex marriage. So, she told her, well, just wear my ring and let's pretend that we're married, at least for now until Viola snatches my soul. So meanwhile, the chef has his own restaurant now. They're all living in America, in Vermont now. So Viola continues to hunt Danny. So she leaves her girlfriend to keep her safe. Jamie awakes thinking that Danny had been taken by Viola. And when Jamie returns to Bly Manor, she jumped into the lake because she thought Danny was in the bottom of the lake. So when she got to the bottom of the lake, she did see Danny there. So her suspicions was right. So there's no saving Danny. Danny will remain at the bottom of the lake for eternity. So now, guys, you know, at the very beginning of the story, okay, there was a woman from the wedding. She was telling the story of what happened at Bly Manor. So the ending goes back to the very beginning of the story. Now, the bride to be, her middle name is Flora. All of the people from Bly Manor was at the wedding. Now, you know, guys, they're dead, so it was their spirit still there. So the lady that told the story, she was sitting up there waiting for someone. She was sleeping with the door locked, and also someone had their hand on her shoulder. So I'm not sure who that was, but I don't even know who this woman that's telling the story. I'm assuming that the lady that's telling the story could be Jamie waiting up for Danny to come back. So they did not show that, and the way it ended, it made me think that there is going to be a season 2, and I hope so, because this was a really good first season. So guys, that is all I have to say about The Haunting of Bly Manor. And if there's a season 2, guys, I will be reviewing that as well. Check out the playlist for The Haunting of Bly Manor to watch the other 2 episodes. And thank you for watching, and you all have a blessed day. Bye now.